fidgets. Oh, and I brought slime.
Okay.
Lots and lots of slime. Even the big tub I got from Target.
Okay. No slime on my table. Okay? But give me one of them fidgets. Ooh, this is a cute one.
I know it's a fidget spinner. It's a little one.
Okay.
Hello. Welcome to our second episode of the Fix Your Face podcast with me, your girl, K. Simone, the theater kid, and
me, Tracey Michelle Lewis-Giggetts.
yeah, and in case you didn't know, we are both riddled head to toe with neurodivergency, neurospiciness.
Riddled? Riddled isn't quite the word that I would use. But yes, that's what our episode is about today, is neurodivergence. And I think the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because not just of our journey, but like, I think that there's not a lot of conversation about neurodivergence for Black folk. In Black folk. I mean, of course, there's a lot of people talking about it online, like on social media or whatnot, but I feel like that, just really honest conversations about what it looks like or what it can look like, because it looks different for everybody, but what it can look like for families, I think is important. And our household is quite neurospicy.
Yeah, me, I got that ADHD and anxiety. She got that ADHD and anxiety.
Undiagnosed.
And I'm diagnosed, medicated as well. My father, definitely.
Well, so no. So let's actually start from the beginning, right? I really think that it's important for us to talk about like how we learned about this, because as I've shared with you, things like autism and ADHD and those kinds of things just weren't
OCD.
things. OCD, oppositional defiance disorder, all of these kinds of things that are like,
what?
We'll talk about that
ODD?
later. ODD, right. These are things that when I was growing up as a Gen Xer wasn't things that we actually talked about or that we really even understood. I would say even within just the last maybe 15 years, 15 to 20 years, people have even really understood what that meant. And so how we first learned of the severity of your ADHD, actually, I don't have many things that I'm grateful for when it comes to the pandemic, but this is one of them. Because you came home from school, like we would get the feedback, or whatnot from teachers or whatever, can't sit still, that kind of thing. But like,
You never thought of anything of it.
I didn't think anything
thought
of
it was
it.
just normal kid stuff.
Yeah, just normal kid stuff. And so, or just we knew that you were special because
okay,
no. I really mean that in a really positive way. Like when you walked into the room, you got, even in kindergarten, like people were gravitated toward you. You had that kind of energy and that kind of effervescence. So that's what I thought it was. It wasn't until you came home during the pandemic, we ended up homeschooling you, that I was like, wait a minute.
For a long time. Homeschooled for a long time. I'm glad I'm back to school now.
Yes, but like, that was when I first realized, and I think your dad too realized that, like, wait a minute, there is something else going on here in terms of like your ability to focus, emotional regulation, impulse control, all of this good stuff.
Why'd you pause?
Because I was just thinking, like,
chocolate?
So, no, but I want to know from you, like, do you remember at all, like, things being different for you in the classroom, or you, were you conscious of all of like something going on when you were little?
Actually, low key, nah. I thought that me being my normal self was just how I was built. I was just built like that, and that like everyone else, like there could be like someone else who like did this, but like no one else seemed to like be like that. But I do remember the bands that the teacher put on my chair in second grade. They put bands on my chair so I could just like...
So you can bounce?
Yeah, so I can like put my leg on it without like shaking up the whole classroom. Because that happened in second grade and everyone got annoyed by it. I mean, 7th grade.
Yeah, so in 7th grade, and this is long after you've been diagnosed. 7th grade, you know, we had issues where kids would say, you know, she's bouncing her leg up and down too much. Like, she's bouncing her own leg under her own desk. Like, get over it. But like, that's the kind of feedback, you know, that people are giving. But I think early on, I didn't know what to do. And we struggled a long time to even get a formal diagnosis. It probably was a couple years after we even started noticing things that we decided, okay, maybe we should go and talk to a behavioral health person and see if you qualified or if you had, you know, all of the traits or whatever. And we did end up doing that, and you were actually diagnosed. And so, you know, and then later on, it was the decision to be medicated. I think you were actually wanting the medication.
I did.
And we were hesitant because, you know, mommy be about her herbs and whatnot. And, you know, and I was just like, no, there's got to be a way. And there
like
are.
essential oils and teas.
Yeah, there are ways to manage this without medication. But we were noticing that the extreme nature of like what you dealt with meant that like we needed some additional assistance, right? And so we had to kind of get over ourselves and provide you what you actually needed.
We had some choices. We tried a couple stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Like we tried Adderall. No, we can't even Adderall.
No, that didn't work. And again, I'll say this just for our audience, like Adderall works for some folks, and like so we're not knocking it, but for her, she turned into a complete zombie and would sleep, and it just didn't work. And we won't say what you're on now, but we did find something that assisted, you know, that helps her, especially during school. The main thing I wanted was for her to be able to have something that helped her with her focus and helped her with her the things that she struggled with, but that did not steal your...
Yeah, didn't make me drowsy, didn't make me not my...
effervescence that... you know, we still kind of sort of wanted that. but we I know, but we so we didn't want you to lose that energy in your spirit, but we also wanted to make sure that you had what you needed, so you know, for your brain essentially. So talk more about like still maybe some of the challenges that you face. You know, again, more people know about ADHD and they're aware of it, but I don't think they fully know. Tell me more.
Here's the thing. I see videos online of these cringy people going, "Oh my god, oh, a squirrel! Oh, sorry, I'm so ADHD," and I'm over here like,
yeah, because they're making
Is that funny? Is that funny to you?
Yeah, or they're just making it like everybody has ADHD. Oh, everybody has it.
No, and everyone just thinks that it's just you can't sit still.
It's more.
Not that.
It's more.
It's more than that.
It's more than that. And you know what? I think the biggest piece is the emotional regulation piece. Being able to...
I have very strong emotions.
Yeah, like you have these big feelings.
Rejection dysphoria.
I think it's RSD, rejection sensitivity disorder, right? Where like, you know, just these really, really highs. And then when something happens, not being able to kind of... You end up spiraling. Right?
Yeah, it's not that. It's more like if you ask someone something, or if they can like hang out with you or something like that, and then they're like, "No, I'm actually hanging out with someone else." It's like, "Oh, okay," and you're kind of like
you internalize it,
and you're kind of like quiet for the whole day, like, "Oh, I don't think they want to hang out with me."
Yeah, and you know,
again,
so
I'm a horrible person. Like that's basically
right.
it.
So you go to the like the nth degree, right? And you know what? I think, you know, socialization has been a big challenge, right? Like making friends.
Social cues.
Making friends. keeping friends.
Keeping friends.
Let's talk about that. Because I think that that's like a big deal that you're in high school now. And like, I feel like, you know, that's an area where you struggle. Is like you make the friends. People are drawn to you because you're Kayla, right? But then when they begin to notice certain things, like sometimes we say things, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Talk about it.
I don't know what I say, bro. Like, if that's what I say to everyone when they meet me. Like, hi, it's nice to meet you. I think you're really cool. I'm really honest. I'm like, I think you're really cool. I think we can be friends. And like, that's what I say. And then I'm like, but, see, here's the thing. If I might say something that may be a little offensive, may hurt your feelings, but here's the thing. Most of the time, I don't mean it. I don't mean it at all, and I never know what I say. So just let me know what I said hurt you, and I'll apologize and I won't do it again. And that's just how I work. Like, you can't, like, I hate when people are just like, yeah, you did this like 2 months ago and it really hurt me, and I'm like, but you didn't tell me. But so how was I supposed to know that it hurt you?
But one of the things that I tell you is, like, there are strategies that we talk about. Like, how do we get to a place?
I'm also bad at reading people.
Oh.
What? Why did you? Oh.
Right. Well, a couple of things. You do what you just did now, which you interrupted me.
Oh, sorry.
No. Okay, we're not going to go in RSD. No, but seriously, like, so there are things that we're working on and helping you manage the dynamic, like being friends with someone and like cutting people off or saying things that are maybe harsh or like the first thing that comes to your mind. Like we've talked about, like, how do we stop a minute, try to stop the train, the car, the race car that's in your brain.
Race car brain with bicycle brakes. That was in my favorite book, my Dogman book by Dave Pilkey. Dave Pilkey has ADHD. I tend to follow artists and make friends and listen to artists, make friends, and read books about people that are neurodivergent. It's really weird. I don't even know it half the time. And then, so I read that book and it was like, and the thing is, one of the characters' name was a robot called ADHD.
This gum is wearing me out. Spit it out. Okay, go ahead.
And the character's name was ADHD, except it was ADHD, like the number ADHD. And then this character was like, "Hey, why can't ADHD come home with us?" And then one of the other characters was like, because he has a race car brain with bicycle brakes. And I was like,
yeah. And I think that's a great way of describing a race car brain with bicycle brakes, right? And so, like, this idea of when you say things like, how do we get to a place where we can stop and think before we speak? Like, it's easy, like as parents, right? Like talking to the moms and dads, right? Like we say, think before you speak. You know, you don't have to say everything that you think. And part of my struggle as a mom is like trying to understand that her brain is different and that her brain doesn't always catch it in time, and she's learning. And so, you know, but there's consequences, right? There's people who get
for your actions,
right? Like people get frustrated, people get angry, people's like, I don't want to fool with her no more because she's you know, she doesn't have any impulse control. So you might touch people, or you can't read the room and know, oh, this might not be.
Let's just clarify. I don't touch people inappropriately. I mean on their shoulder or like pull their arm or something.
I think people got it. I think they know that, right? Like, you know, but you may enter somebody's personal space, or you may like not read the room and know, oh, this isn't the time to tell a joke, right? And so, like,
that's on me, guys.
So, like, I think, you know, there are all of these challenges. And I think, you know, speaking from the parenting, I think one of the hardest things is like the things that we wrestle with you with are things that
Nanny and wrestled with you about.
Well, I just got my butt whooped. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm not saying I got a lot of butt whoopings, but I'm saying, like, you know, or there are things that
Daddy used to have to tear a branch off a tree.
Yes. And the thing is that there are things that I just learned how to mask very early on how to cover it up. So the reason why I didn't even have any idea that, this thing ADHD existed and that it was potentially showing up to me as inattentive was because I learned how to mask it very early on, and I thought that's just what everybody did. And I didn't really begin to understand that what I was seeing in her was actually reflected in me, until she got diagnosed. And then I was like, oh wow, oh wow, oh, I remember thinking, like, I remember doing that, I remember getting in trouble for doing that, but it didn't become crystal clear. Like, I was always the one, you can your dad would say this, where I thought I was neurotypical and I thought he was neurodivergent, right? And that's how I moved for like very early parts of our marriage, not realizing that a lot of the stuff that because I had learned, and I think Black women actually do this much, very well. We've learned how to mask across the board so well.
Masking, talk a little more about that.
Well, I mean,
like the good kind and then back.
Okay, yeah, because I've taught you that, right? We've been talking about that earlier, right? So, for the long time, I was telling her I don't want to dim her light. I want her to not have to mask and that kind of thing. And then we, as she's gotten older, we live in the real world, right?
The real world's hard, guys. Don't recommend it. Kids, stay in school.
So one of the things that I've talked to her is like, how do we strategically mask? Right? So how do we look at it not as, we shift our perspective, that we look at it not as we're masking to dim our light or to dumb ourselves down, but that the space that we're entering has not earned the right to see the fullness of who we are. Right? So there's some spaces that just haven't earned the right to get all of the effervescence of Michae'l. And so they have to earn the right to see all of those parts. So it's masking still, like for real, it's still masking, but it's masking with intention. It's like, I'm not going to maybe be jokey in this space because they won't get it. And I don't feel like in this moment having to prove myself to them so that they can get me. The people who are going to get me, the people who love me, they're going to get me.
Like mama.
Right? But and so I don't know if that's right. I don't know if there's a therapist who might come on here and be like, no, that's not good. That's still masking. But I think for the world as a young Black girl, and that's why I think talking about this through the intersection of race is important, because there are things that you're going to face as a young Black girl that somebody else that's not a young Black girl won't face. That intersection matters. And there are spaces where you're going to have to mask. But you do it intentionally. You don't do it as like, oh, I gotta be less than. You're gonna do it as like, y'all don't get all of this.
Yeah, like how people used to like, I sort of like made it so like, because people at school used to be like really like mean to me, but now I want to identify it as jealousy just because it makes me feel better. But the only reason why is because it's like I talk about my experiences. And I just think of it as talking about my experiences. Like, yeah, I'm doing NJDFL and I won first place and I was super happy and I got a trophy. But that's not me like saying...
They take it as bragging.
Yeah, they take it as bragging when I'm really just like excited about my accomplishments, because really I've never won a first place award that big before. So I'm like super excited about telling them about that, just trying to do that. And they're like, oh, you're bragging? You're just telling us that we're not good like that, like you. And so like, and I'm like that's how they take it. And then they like act like that towards me. And then I'm over here like, wait, what I do? I was just trying to share my experiences and what I've done before. I didn't think it was a problem.
And it's not a problem. I think that there's
a time and a place for everything.
A time and a place for everything. But also, like, I think there's a couple of things at work. Like, high school is just hard. You know what I mean? Socially, I should say. Like, high school can just be difficult because guess what? The same way you're dealing with your stuff is the same way that those kids are dealing with their stuff. Everybody is dealing with something, and I think, we've talked about you having a certain degree of privilege, right? And like, you don't necessarily have to tell everybody everything that you're doing. You don't necessarily have to announce it. And again, I know the ADHD part of you is just blah. You know what I'm saying?
Word vomit.
Yeah, you just say it. But at the end of the day, because you don't know whether the people in that room really will get you enough to know that you're not bragging, sometimes it's best to just let your work speak for itself. That's how mommy rolls a lot of times. Let the work speak for...
And look what your work got you.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, if you let it speak, like, you know, I've said, Beyonce walks into a room and the room turns their attention to her. She doesn't have to say, yes, I'm Beyonce and I had Renaissance and I had
the world, girls.
You know, like she doesn't have to say any of that. She just enters the room because her work speaks, her work ethic, whatever you like, whether you like her or not, whatever speaks ahead of time. And so that's where I want you to get, especially with like your dreams. And we're going to have another episode on dreams, like, you know, dreams. Where you want to go, you're going to have, I love the word humility, but I don't think
humility.
Being humble.
Oh.
But I don't
humility.
I'm saying I think people use that word to like make people small, even though that's not what it means. And yeah. I think I want you to have humility, but more than anything, just be more conscious or aware of the rooms that you're in and what you are willing to give them, right? I just think that works the best. But one of the things I want to talk about, because we can talk about all the challenges, the socialization, the impulse control, the emotional regulation, the focus issues, like all those sort of challenging things that come with ADHD. But what do you think is like your superpower with ADHD?
My superpower?
Here she go, y'all.
My superpower? Hyperfocus, man. That is amazing. You know why? Because I remember all my hyperfocuses up till now. Like, I remember, what's the first one? Dance, which was ballet first. Mm-hmm. So ballet, then after that, I don't know, art. It was art for a long time, like drawing and painting and stuff like that. That got really good at it. I'm still pretty good at it. And then there's what was that? Basketball.
Oh yeah, we did go through
softball.
Yes.
Soccer.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We have karate.
Karate. We both got yellow belts.
Yeah, I got a yellow belt. Mm-hmm. I can fight. It's not like my cousin got a black belt or anything, but I can fight. And so yeah, karate, and then that sort of moved up to like singing, and I always loved to sing. Mm-hmm. I've always loved to sing. Always. And so then eventually when I was 10, I remember standing right in this room telling my mother, oh, I want to do musical theater. That's my thing now. And it's been my thing ever since. And so that means dancing, which I love to dance. I mean, I love to dance. I love gym class and I love dance club at school. I love to dance and I love to move around. Mm-hmm. So dance, acting. I do that.
Acting.
Acting and singing.
Yeah, so you get to do, and I think what's interesting is like now you found like the thing that allows you to, I don't know, offload and express, yes, the things that have oftentimes kind of been pent up because of ADHD, right? Like your ADHD kind of opens up your creativity and your movement and allows you to use all these gifts that you have, especially on the stage. Yes. Like you're a quintessential theater kid for sure.
Yes, I love theater because it's like when it's like backstage, there can be all the drama backstage, and then and in cast and stuff, which there has in my last show, but like on stage, no one can really bother you because you got to be really strict on stage, but you can also be yourself on stage. And on stage, I like see the crowd and I see the lights, and it's like you get that adrenaline rush that like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm good at this. I got this, you know. And then I sing and I act, and I'm like Les Mis, and I was at the end of the day, you're another day older, and I was acting so. Ooh, I feel it right now.
It was just in you. It was just in you. I hear you. Listen, and mommy is right there, like in the audience. Sanction! being loud. Well, you know what? I think this is like a really good conversation, and I'm glad that you at least understand that your ADHD is not like it's not like a negative, right? Is it challenging?
Very much so.
Can it turn into something negative if you don't manage, yourself well and do the things that you need to? Yes, it absolutely can. I mean, that's a real thing. But is there beautiful things about the way that your brain works? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that we love. We love. So thank you, my dear, for sharing your heart.
Do a segment?
Oh, our segment. Yes. So this segment is Make It Make Sense.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. So we're going to talk a little bit about, which I'm concerned about doing with you, what's going on in the world right now.
Ooh, make it make sense, guys. Make this country make sense.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. There's war, and then there's just, economic upheaval and all these things going on. And I wonder if, like, for you, like, when you hear, we don't watch a lot of news around the house, but like when you hear about what's going on in the world, I wonder if you are, what feelings come up for you, and like what you ultimately, think should be done.
I low-key feel kind of scared. Like, what has this country come to? Yeah. Like, we had the revolution, the civil rights movement, and like Martin Luther King and all of the abolitionists and the Underground Railroad. And I feel like all of them old people who tried to, my bad for calling them old, but sorry, they kind of
elders.
Our ancestors, our elders, the people who helped us get to where we are turning in their graves looking at us right now. Because it's like, come on, they did all of that for what?
It feels like we're going backwards, right?
Exactly.
And the progress, right, is like any progress that we have made, not that we are there, but any progress that we have made, it feels like we're going backwards in time. And I mean, that's what some people want, right? Some people want us to go back.
I think everyone, low-key, when I look at this stuff, I'm like, why is there even like, why should we, like, there is conflict in the world, like, yeah, but like, why? I really don't like get it. Like, it's
greed.
Like, yeah, but it's like, ain't that like one of the 7 deadly sins?
It is.
Or something. Yeah, deadly for all of us as well.
Well, on that note, their greed is deadly for us. Yes. I mean, that's the low-key a word right there. Like, I think that's a bar, a word, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Put that in the song. Eat.
Yes, I think you need to do that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fix Your Face, the podcast.
Oh, we forgot to talk about that.
Oh,
sensory seeking.
You know what? I think we should do a part two of this part two on neurodivergence, because there's so much stuff. Yeah, like we didn't get a chance to talk about sensory seeking, and I think that would be something that we definitely want to talk about. So let's do a part 2 of this. All right.
Let's table it for now.
We'll table it for now. Okay. Thank y'all for coming through. Be well, and if you can't be well, just be.
Yes, I love that.